Peace and blessings. Yes, this is part five. We're going in again on this Tippu tip Bijoux Noir's video stream. Fifth part. Let's get in it. Ready? Let's get it. Are you ready? Let's get it. Yes, peace and blessings. Keep up the lessons. This is your brother Taller from the Brother Taller Show. Yes, I'm here again. Like I said, it was going to be several videos. I'm sorry I had gaps between the others. But, I had to do what I had to do in my daily. You know what I mean? I got to be at work, home, family, all all of that. So, but okay, don't forget to click the like button after this video, or before it. It's fine. If you already know my content and you're aware, you can click ahead of time like I do to fellow YouTubers that I do follow as well. So you can do that. And don't forget to subscribe and share the video so it can get out there to everybody else. This video, again, is and that I'm doing is for the reaction videos that I have done already, and this being the fifth part. I'm doing this again as a disclaimer that not on a personal level against her as a person, because I don't really know her like that. I only know her through her YouTube content creating and her videos, her streams, and my experience on one of her videos, streams that I got attacked by one of the croonies that she had on her thing that was a black nationalist, and he's anti-religion. He was apostate from Islam and all of that. And he came at me while I was trying to just basically bring clarification about my faith, because any people that I see talk incorrect about Islam in these groups or in these streams, when I go in there, I just go into the panel when they have the panel freely open and give them a correct understanding of my faith. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't want nobody to have a misunderstanding of the faith and then get into thinking that we're this, that, and then start pointing fingers and, oh yeah, they're terrorists, yeah, this, they're that, they're this. All these negatives that are not what is the truth of what Islam is. So that's how I am, and that's who I am. And you already know that if you've watched me and you follow me and so forth. So basically with her, right now, I'm leaving off from the last video. The lady that was talking, I don't know, I can't remember her name, and she was talking, she sounded weird, and she was getting into that she knows the Arabic language, but she didn't speak on the Arabic language in connection to what she knows about the Arabs. She just spoke about something that seemed suspicious about what's going on with the Arabs moving into these different areas and building up establishing their stores, their businesses. And then this girl, Gina, that's her name, I found out and realized, hearing it again, and I was correct in my video when I said I think her name is Gina, because I remember when I was in her stream. And the next video I'm going to do, and I'm going to show you some proof about the stream, because I don't want to do this here. I'm going to be getting prepared to go to work. Tomorrow I'm off, so I'll probably be doing it tomorrow, inshallah. And I will bring to show you some of the clips of what went on and transpired in a video, if I can find it back in my archive. And I'm going to try to pull it out, and so you can see for yourself and not think that I'm just coming at this sister, African American sister. She's not Muslim, so I can't say Muslim sister, of course, or any of that. But that this, like I'm just coming at her. No, I'm just coming at her about my faith. Don't come to my faith, or don't bring anything that is incorrect. Bring correctness, bring proof and evidences. Now, you can do anything with the Muslims as far as on a level of that you're not trying to bring any harm to them neither, or you're trying to defamate their character, because I'm also going to try to look out and protect my Muslim brothers and sisters. Now, this guy, Tippu Tip, I did do my studies. I found out, yes, and he's going to be held accountable. And Allah knows best, like I said. If he did not make tawbah before he died, this according to our faith, Islam, and even in, you got in Judaism, Christian, repentance is a way of forgiveness from the Creator first, and then even people, you go to the people and you apologize and so forth. Nobody knows. None of us was living in a time when he made his actions, and actually all the actions that transpired, only some of it was recorded. We got it in books. We have it in encyclopedia. Then it was transferred to Wikipedia when we have, the internet and Google and all this. So now we have ways to get a hold of this information that was recorded or, dated back all these years, but the actual people who were there are not living. That witness bore witness to every detail and action of what took place, whether he recanted or uh, started to go away from this way and said that he will not have any slaves anymore, and he would stop this, and he knew he was doing wrong and evil, and he redeemed himself and went to these people and straightened out with their families, whatever. We don't know. We don't know this, but of course you're going to look at the negatives, only at the negatives, because they're trying to build up what they want to build up. The emotions of the people, like I said, rile them up and make them feel some type of way and say, oh, I don't want to be. That's why we got to get rid of the Muslims out of Africa. I mean, whatever it may be. But that's why we got to stop these Arabs and stuff coming into our lands and so forth like this. You know, and being stereotypical like the other oppressors have been doing that took over the world and did this to the world. You know what I'm saying? These people are savages. We gotta civilize them. Or these people don't belong here. Why are they in our, or they're coming in our country like now, coming into America? Why they make the borders and this and like this? And then in Israel, what they're doing to the Palestinians. The same stuff. The same stuff. You know, it's got to stop. And then what happened in Rwanda, like I said, you know, they got on the radio, talked their stuff in the media like this, like they're doing. And then what happened? A war started out, a civil war. Same thing here. Freaking Donald Dump, I call him, or Donald Trump, goes on the podium. And right now they got this case in the courts. They got it all on the media. Controversy over it. Of what statements that he used to rile up the people's emotions and get them to come and what? They want to try to overthrow the Capitol. And whatever else they was doing. And they're trying to do now today. And the white supremacist groups are on the high level activities now. Because one of them killed 10 people or more over there in upstate New York. Right? We want to talk stuff and not be responsible for what we're saying. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, let's get into it. So this is what she's bringing with this lady named Cerebral, who was the person that she took the videos from and let them, you know, be on her stream at the time and let people listen to it. And this is what she was saying. Let's listen to it and, you know, speak a little bit about what she's saying.
And his real name is, now I might not say this right, is Hamed bin Muhammad bin Jumdin Rajid El Marajabi.
Okay. And, you know, that's another thing. These people, they don't understand even the language, how to speak it correctly, let alone do they understand the faith. No. So it's like, how can you speak about a faith? How can you speak on certain things? Only all you're going to speak about is from the outside and the little piece and parts that you have and cutting and pasting like you've been doing. That's basically what it is. And the first thing she started off, Gina, Bijoux Noir, is she's the YouTube facilitator of her own channel, that she starts off with religion. She starts off with the Arab, the Muslims. And then in the end, as I get to the end, when I've watched the whole video through, later on you'll hear, if I get to that point, I'm going to try to get to it, because I'm going to try to chip up some of these clips and just make clips and then get them and not go all the way through, because it's very long. And I know I don't want to do a series of 10 parts. This is ridiculous. So, because they're not that important. But the situation is important, because it's serious. Some people might not take it serious, but this is some serious stuff that they keep doing, and they keep perpetuating this narrative of the Arabs and the Muslims and Islam bringing harm to Africa like no one else has. But the Europeans, now they want to put them on the side for a minute and come at the Muslims, because they don't want an Islamic nation of people, or nations, because that's what we still have in Africa. They don't. These types of people don't. They just want it pro-black, what do you call it? Pan-Africanist, whatever that has to do with just being black African, not worrying about their creator. And then the stuff that she was speaking about is like nobody realizes why the things are happening is because you're forgetting your Lord. You're leaving your Lord out of the whole scenario. Not just bringing them in when you want to bring them in and make us make a nice statement and say, the sun doesn't rise from, like she mentioned earlier, but by the Creator, by God. But now you want to speak, you believe, okay? But anyway, let's get to his name. I want to give you his name because I want to let you know how it's pronounced correctly. Hamad ibn Muhammad ibn Jum'a ibn Rajab ibn Muhammad ibn Sa'ad al-Murjabi, which was an Afro-Omani Ivory. And that's just like a ethnic group off of from the Omani people, and was settled in what do you call Zanzibar, which is his family was settled in Zanzibar. And so basically that's where he's from, and who he is already given. But I've made my research, and they're pretty much on point with who he was. He was a slave driver. Yes, he was a slave owner, and he did bits of business with it big time. Plantations, this, that, all the nine is some of the stuff they said. But he's him, and I'm me. I never did any of this. So he doesn't represent me. And he doesn't represent the whole Muslim Ummah. And people like him, African or African Arab Muslims, as he can be because he's mixed like that, okay? And you have the Arabs from the Khalij, from the Gulf, the Khaliji countries, the Gulf countries, okay? And they are mixed with Persian and Turkish, and of course African. Because a lot of you people on this pro-black, pro-African, Aswad, everything is black like a freaking crayon, like my thobe, my garb. You understand what I'm saying? Colors, and stuff. Like the movie, yeah. Like these guys are Bloods and the Crips, flipping it off, bugging out in the streets, killing each other over colors. You understand what I'm saying? The Latin Kings with the yellow. Back when I was in the gangs, Zulu Nation, green, the red, the black, the green. Black liberation colors. That was for African Bambaataa. That was from him and the Zulu Nation, because he was trying to spin it off on an Afrocentricity or Afrocentric type of tip. This stuff is like school stuff, man. This is like, back in the day, teenage stuff. And we still doing this. We still into this. We haven't gone above this. Mankind's minds should be above all this foolishness, race and blood and this. I mean, we've been given minds that we don't even use part of our mind scientifically. What they talk about, the cerebral and all this other type of parts of the mind, that because Allah hasn't allowed us to even venture in there because we're not worthy of it. We're not worthy of the usages and more usages other than jumping in the air, Michael Jordan, and doing all this and propelling our bodies and doing all this other stuff. But this blessed mind that we've been given and heart that we've been given, that we had to be responsible with to house it or hold within it good and righteous actions. No, we go first disbelief, and then we go into all these crazy stuff and choosing to be other sexes and all these things. I mean, drinking and polluting our body, But anyway, I'm going a little bit off. But it's just what it is, man. It's just crazy. We got to get it together. All right. Anyway, let me let you listen.
He was an Arab slave trader, again, and he enslaved many black people. And a lot of black people, like I said, they just can't imagine that that the so-called Arab enslaving the people looks like him. So Tippu Tip got his name because of the sounds of his guns, but his name also means the gatherer of wealth. He ended up being a very wealthy man. Now, he was born in Zanzibar, and Zanzibar is kind of off the coast of Tanzania, Africa, and he was a slave trader in Central Africa, the Congo area, in Eastern Congo, and East Africa. He was born in
Okay, that's his story. He did all of that. Let's go and just go a little past and hear the complaints.
Of the Muscat Oman family, the Omanis. you guys hear me? Put a 1 in the comment section if you can. This is the part I don't want us to miss out on. This man had 7 plantations in Africa. Before, he had 10,000 slaves.
Okay, so this is some of the stuff. I just wanted to let that get out. That because I got to be fair. I got to let stuff, and I don't want people to think I'm all just picking and choosing so that I can edit like the news does, the news media does, and tries to make people or things or whatever they're covering look bad on the side of what they're doing by editing it and by showing. I have no choice but to do like small spots and go to the areas that I could pinpoint on, because some of the spots have nothing to do with Islam, and it's nothing to do with even the Muslims as a whole, because they said this is the Muslims, Arabs, plural, like I said in my other video. It's not saying some of the Muslims or this particular Muslim man. She gets into that him later, but she doesn't speak and say this particular Muslim. I'm not talking about all the Muslims. That's what she should be saying. She should be clarifying that. You have to be responsible. You understand? When you talk, you can't just freestyle like we freestyling on the mic and we in the street like this. Nah, this is not how you do, my sister. From the human race, African descent. You got to get it together because you're doing stuff that's not responsible, and putting this out there, and other people that are watching, that are blind following. Some of them are blind. Some of them will have position to say, no, I don't think that's how all of them are. But he was a bad guy. That's it. You understand? Let's move on.
Business, and you talk about how you're gonna make money with this man selling your people. Now, this is a black man, y'all. This is a black man sitting with another man, talking about how he's gonna drug up. Now look, it's signed at the bottom. Let's look.
Now she said this is a black man, and this is not a white man. Or what kind of? He's a man. Why couldn't you just say that he's this guy, this man, and his name is the bad man, and he did what he did with this man who was helping him to do this bad, like a lot of these people are. No, you're not going to say that, because we want to make sure that we have understanding of the race card or the race issue. And the race issue on our side and where she's coming from is that, which I understand and I agree with her on the level of that our people have wronged each other. We wrong each other. And whether he denied himself of being African, like they say, he kind of denied it, that or didn't accept himself as being African, that he was more Arab or something like this, whatever. However, just like the Khaliji, just like in Egypt, the Masriyun, I've been there, I lived there. A predominant of them, other than the Aswanis, which are the more southern part of Egypt, they deny and they don't accept themselves as being African. Afriki, as they say in Arabic. They only accept themselves as being Arab, Egyptian, from Egypt, and being an Arab from that Arab Republic. Moroccan or Berbers, right? You got all these different, and just like she's mentioned, it's true, tribalism. But this all comes together to bring the proof that this is why we got to stop this stuff. This is why we got to stop worrying about our color of our skin too much. It's there, and yeah, you can say, yeah, I am what I am and who I am, and know who you are. There's nothing wrong with consciousness of who you are. But it's something wrong when you make this the first and foremost, or you say you're the first people, or you say you're the best, or you're the most powerful people. We're not. That's why we do. That's why he fell. That's why he did this. Because he wasn't that powerful against his own self. And then he spoke about his mother, as you go on, and I get on later in the videos. And she didn't do anything for him because she was not perfect. She was human as well, and she made errors. His father, where was his father? What did his father do? How did his father raise him to be able to do these types of things? Right, she asked these questions. What kind of parents did he have? This is important. Well, they did what they did because they had excuses, because they were tribal, because they felt these were other people, so we can do this to these other people, but we won't do this to our people. That's tribalism. That's part of tribalism. And tribalism is part of the ignorance of people thinking that they're this one and that one and they're better. Not what Allah says in the Quran, that He created us in difference, but to know each other. And through knowing each other's respect and knowing that you are under one being created equal. That's it. But all the foolishness with the crayon Crayola, kids playing around which color is better, this is where we at. And then behind that, you don't see the evil and falling that your own people do, because that's who they are. Like in the streets, niggas, excuse my expression, on the block doing what they doing. They don't care about your color. They don't care about brother peace and blessings, or brother black power, or this or that. Pan-Africanism and ADOS and all these different types of groups pumping the fist, and black liberation colors and all this other stuff. Symbolisms, isms and schisms, like you like Bob Marley mentioned. You know what I mean? And you pushing all of that, and you blinding your people. You're still blinding the people. They're getting involved in the same ancient rituals, jujus and the woo-boos and the ghosts of Christmas past, with Egyptology, spin it off with Hinduism. All kinds of stuff, meaning mixing stuff, and then getting into like Zen Buddha, and then trying to take a little bit of that from what you took from what you learned that and bring it back to Africa, and then you making a new type of new age belief, spirituality, or whatever you want to call it. Because you can't stay with the point of there's only one worthy of worship. You can't stay with sticking to that one being. This is what Islam's about: submitting, surrendering to this one being, not surrendering to man and your race and your family and yourself, or the shaitan, because that's what he's been doing, getting you to submit to his will, his misguidance. That's what we're in, all this misguidance and stuff we're talking about, like in these videos. But I said I'm gonna try to let go for a little longer and see what else to talk real quick. Well, actually, it's 22 minutes in. I'm gonna cut this video short right now and come back for the sixth one. I'm gonna prepare it, try to finish up as much as I can in the sixth one. All right. But I appreciate you listening to what I brought. We got to learn that, we have to, number one, be responsible and know what we're dealing with. Know the situation at hand, and know that everybody doesn't fall under the same umbrella, and you can't put everybody in the same box. You understand? Especially when it comes to a faith and a belief. And you can't say because you fell in your faith, or your faith wasn't good for you, now you want to create all faiths and put them in the same box and say this is what happens, this is what they do. They bring war, they bring evil, they enslave people, they try to perpetrate the fraud of them being righteous, but then they do this. But that's what you're bringing, because that's what you only knew of. But you never seen, or I don't know if you ever accepted the beauty and the purity of the oneness of the Creator, like I do, and I have, and many Muslims have, to understand that we never did anything like this dude. Never did anything like this cat right here. But he's gonna be dealt with. Allah's just, and he knows what every little thing that you do is. Nothing you can't get past him, and he can't get past Allah. He's in his grave now. We don't know. He might be suffering in his grave until the time he's going to be raised up. Like, that's what we know in Islam. If you did wrong and you didn't please Allah and you was evil and you did all these different acts, or even more than he might have done, or even less, and you didn't repent and change and do right before you left this earth, before you left this life, you're going to suffer in your grave. And then after that, you're going to be raised up to know that which you did. Your deeds are going to be put out in front of you on a scale, and it's going to be there for you to see. And then you're going to be judged, and then you're going to be punished. And for the people opposite of that is the beauty and the blessings and the bliss that's going to be for the people who pleased Allah and did what he was supposed to do and didn't fall into all this foolishness that we do. Because we don't know how to live this life right. We think we do. And that's where arrogance is a bliss, is an iblis, let's say it like that, is a destruction to us. Because we get blinded by arrogance, thinking that we have control over ourselves and no one should have control over us. Yeah, no human being, no animal, not the shaitan, no jinns, not the angels, the one who created all of this. Because he knows it. But we choose other than that. Okay, fine. But other than that, I'm sorry, I didn't want to make this a altogether religious video, even though it's in my religious sector or part of my channel that I do, as you see in the background, and you see how I am. So, but basically, till next time, peace and blessings. Keep up the lessons. Don't forget to click the like button, subscribe, and share the video. Peace and blessings. Are you ready? Let's get it.